My first day as a member of the 501st. It was hot, sandy, chaotic. Nothing at all like the simulations on Camino. Of course, that was the way it was for all of us, wasn't it? All that breeding, all those years of training. Doesn't really prepare you for all the screaming, all the blood, does it? Frankly, I'm still amazed we made it through the first hour. Never mind the first day. Incredibly, the men of the 501st survived the crucible of Geonosis, emerging battle-hardened and ready for whatever the war would throw at us. As the waning months of the Clone Wars, the 501st faced missions critical to the agenda of Chancellor Palpatine. When we arrived at the bombed-out ruins of Magneto, our Jedi commander believed he was sent to take out a droid energy collector. What Mundi didn't know, however, was the 501st was secretly tasked with retrieving an experimental Magnetan power source the Chancellor wanted for his super laser. Keeping Mundi in the dark wasn't easy. The Jedi had become increasingly wary of the Chancellor's doings, and were on the lookout for the slightest hint of treachery. Just like the rest of them, though, he never caught whiff of what was really going on, until it was far too late. But the success at the mission of Magneto was somewhat of a revelation for the men of the 501st. Suddenly, we realized the Jedi could be fooled, and if they could be fooled, they could be killed. As the Clone War progressed, more and more ground-based legions found themselves pressed into space combat, including the fighting forces of the 501st. For months, hours of our downtime were spent in the simulator, preparing for the time we'd face our enemy from the cockpit of a 170. Finally, the day came to earn our wings. The CIS had staged a daring kidnapping of Chancellor Palpatine, and were being escorted from Coruscant by a fleet of separatist ships. With few veteran pilots on planet, several 501st were pressed into service to buy time for a pair of Jedi Knights to rescue the Chancellor. After disabling the final capital ship, Generals Kenobi and Skywalker took advantage of the opportunity we'd created and rescued the Chancellor. Took all the credit, too. It's been said the 501st got the best of the war. We also got the worst. On Felucia, the CIS dug their heels into the muck of that alien hellhole and dared the Republic to come in after them. So we did, only to be met with month after month of flesh-eating diseases, shrieking nocturnal predators, and other sights that still haunt me to this day. Cut off and for all we knew abandoned by our superiors, our only hope was Aayla Secura, our Jedi commander. Without her iron will, none of us would have come out of that mess with our sanity, or our lives. When her death came, I hope it was quick. She earned that much. When the 501st was finally rotated out of Felucia, Aayla Secura made a point of seeing us off personally, calling us the bravest soldiers she'd ever seen. It's a good thing we were all wearing helmets, 'cause none of us could bear to look her in the eye. When the Separatist invasion of Kashyyyk caught the Republic flat-footed, a detachment of the 501st was sent in to stop the bleeding until reinforcements could arrive. It was a textbook suicide mission, and we knew it. As we fought our way into Kashyyyk's atmosphere, most of the men had begun to believe the only way they were getting off of this planet was in a body bag. As the 501st finally broke through the Separatist blockade over Kashyyyk, I took a long look back at the battle that still raged over the planet, and wondered why so many had to die for a bunch of walking carpets. And then I followed my orders and turned planetward. When we finally arrived at Kashyyyk, it was just as bad as we imagined. The droids had us outmaneuvered, outgunned, and outmanned with a 5-to-1 margin. And what no one counted on was the Wookiees. We'd all heard the stories, of course, but we never fought next to them. I've never seen them rip apart a droid with their bare hands. They were magnificent. Even so, it was still a suicide mission, until Master Yoda arrived. Then it became a battle. A winnable battle. With the timely arrival of Master Yoda, we were able to hold off the Seps on Kashyyyk. We left as heroes, and years later, we'd return as conquerors. In our bones, we knew the war was almost over. The galaxy held its breath waiting to see which side would make the final daring move. As fortune would have it, the Republic moved first after Chancellor Palpatine informed the Jedi Council that General Grievous and the Sith leaders were hiding on Utapau. General Kenobi gathered an army large enough to capture 3 star systems. When the orders reached the 501st, our morale soared. For better or worse, this would be the beginning of the end. With the death of General Grievous at the hands of General Kenobi, the Utapau raid had broken the back of the Separatists. Under normal circumstances, this would be a time for celebration, but our next orders put pain to those thoughts. What I remember about the rise of the Empire was how quiet it was. During the waning hours of the Clone Wars, the 501st Legion was discreetly transferred back to Coruscant. It was a silent trip. We all knew what was about to happen, what we were about to do. Did we have any doubts? Any private treacherous thoughts? Perhaps, but nobody said a word. Not on the flight to Coruscant, not when Order 66 came down, and not when we marched into the Jedi Temple. Not a word. With the fall of Coruscant and the elimination of the treacherous Jedi, Palpatine's rise to power was complete. In recognition of our service and loyalty to the Emperor, the 501st was placed under the direct command of Lord Vader. Armed with deadly new weapons, blazing new ships, and shiny new armor, our presence let the galaxy know the days of the old Republic were well and truly over. We were establishing a new era, an era of order and peace.